This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh, he took a weapon!
We're going to start off with who we think are sure starters. So I got a list right here. So I've got at quarterback, I got Joe Milton, center Cooper Mays, left tackle and right tackle Gerald Mincy and or John Campbell. I think that they'll, it's either going to be left or right. And then I've got Thomas at tackle. I've got Aaron Beasley playing Mike. And then I've got Gabe Judy Lolly playing left side corner, Brew McCoy at wide receiver, Charles Campbell at kicker, and Kobe Morgan at punter.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a list. I mean, I pretty much agree. Of course, Joe Milton's a guy. It's his team. I think he's. We're going to go as far as he leads us. I think he's the mainstay. Cooper's a guy that's been doing it. There's really not anybody I'd add to this list. I don't know. I mean, I think you might be able to throw. That's the thing. You can't really throw Squirrel White in there because you don't know about if Dante Thornton might, end up being the guy or not. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a good-looking group of core guys. Got coming back.
Yeah, I agree. If Joe Milton is not the starting quarterback, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's a good sign. As much as I like Nico and can't wait to see him, knowing what's in front of us in the SEC, unless Nico comes in and he's just one of these exceptional, once in a decade type of freshmen, it's got to be Joe. And I think it's the best thing for the program long term too, to have Joe be that guy and let Nico get a chance to see it. Maybe playing spots. And that'd be good for his development. The other thing I would say is if John Campbell is not the starter, do we call that a fail? I mean, is that a fail? I mean, we brought him in to be the right tackle.
Yeah.
Either
guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Either that's a fail or somebody behind him stepped up and is playing a lot better.
Yeah, and I mean, who do you think that would? It would have to be one of those freshmen. Because who else could step up and be able to fill a tackle role right now?
I mean, we got Jeremiah Crawford. He got some good time for us last year. I was watching a little bit of that Georgia film. I mean, he held his own, but he's getting pushed around. He's not a guy you would necessarily want to be the guy, but I think he'd probably be next up.
Yeah. So and that actually kind of brings me to one of my next points, right? So I wanted to highlight something, and this is coming from Pro Football Focus. Georgia's offensive line last year averaged a Pro Football Focus grade of 71.8, and Tennessee's was a 57.4. Wow. So that just lets you know what a huge difference. We've got to get better on the line of scrimmage. Offensive lines have got to get significantly better. We've got to get people, either some of these guys, some of these upperclassmen are going to have to step up in a huge way, or these freshmen are going to have to step up. We're going to have to continue to pound that transfer portal. We need bodies there. We need better players there. Now, I think that we did an excellent job of gelling that unit last year. I think that there's something in our scheme that makes it easier for the offensive line to work together as a unit, and hopefully we can do that again this year. But I'm just curious as to who's going to be that next guy to be able to step up, because really our best player from last season obviously was Darnell Wright. He was a 71.4. That average without Darnell Wright is, it might be under 50. Or it might be right at 50. That's really, really bad.
To your point with the offensive line, I think that the tempo that Hyper likes to play with helps us in that area. And I've heard people say, I don't necessarily agree with it. I agree more with you that offensive line is a position where at Tennessee it may not be as big of a priority. Now that don't even sound right. Because you're in the SEC. You're blocking Jalen Carter's and Will Anderson's, every week. So, so I agree with you 100%. Yeah. We got to figure that out.
Yeah. I just kind of piggyback off that. We got to figure it out. And because, your two mainstays in Darnell Wright and, I think Jerome Carvin was a guy that I really thought highly of last year. Those guys are gone. So that's two big spots to fill. Obviously, bringing in Campbell in the portal is huge. Mincy's a guy. I mean, I think on paper, 6'6", 330, you like him, but, he's always getting nicked up and hurt. So, you want to see if he can stay in. But who's going to be that left guard, I think, is a big one for me. And,
that's my biggest thing, too. And I'm thinking maybe it could be one of those freshmen, maybe one of the underclassmen.
Yeah, I know that's a big ask for a freshman to come in and at this level. But hope maybe we had a lot of guys come in early, come in January. They would have had 6 months in the weight program. So you just never know. You never know. Maybe one of them can step in there.
Yeah, so I think that's probably one of the biggest areas that the staff is going to be looking at this season. Now, one of the other big areas is obviously corner. So if you look at how many bodies we brought in this season, or I guess throughout this season, I think we have more corners than anything else. So obviously the staff looked at that and said, hey, we got to get this fixed. So who do y'all see as a cornerback? Who do y'all see as your starting corners? So I put Gabe Judy Lally. I mean, I've got him locked in. He already looked like he would be the best corner just coming in from his film last year. He's played more than anybody else. But he's played, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years or something like that of college football, seriously. So
huge. Yeah.
And another good thing about him is that he's played in the SEC, which is huge. So he knows exactly what's in front of him. Yeah. That's big. I also think that corner is one of the few positions where a freshman can come in and make an impact. If he gets his strength and stuff up to speed, technique and especially in zones means a lot. So Jordan Matthews looks like a guy who he looks like, he might be ready. And Ricky Gibson, look like they might be able to come in and contribute.
Yeah, I think so. And that's one of the biggest things. I'm glad that you brought that up. It's just really, I think that spring ball is mostly going to be about seeing how these guys can get acclimated to the system, learning what we like to do, how much can they pick up on different schemes and techniques and things like that. That's the main thing that spring ball is going to be about. So, that's going to be one of the biggest things.
What you're saying is exactly right. I mean, it's a huge spring for these guys, and something that people who observed the bowl preparation practice was saying is that the freshman defensive backs jumped out. Yeah. They jumped out. You could tell athletically, they were there, they were competing. I heard a few people make comments on that. So let's see what they do and move the pads on.
Oh yeah. So what's one of the biggest keys, Steve? Like what do you think that the coaches are going to be looking for out of the corners? Obviously since you played.
Yeah, you talking about in spring ball?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the main thing as a coach, you want guys you can trust out there. So, you want guys that understand the calls, the coverages, who can pick up on, the checks, because playing corner, it's not super complicated, but you have to know, like, okay, if it's a 3-by-1, my coverage is this. If it's a 3-by-1, but it's a tight end, my coverage is this. Just kind of knowing, those little nuances of the coverages, stuff like that. So, you want guys that are dependable in that aspect, but also guys that don't get beat deep. We're going to want guys that can stay on top and, guys that the coach can trust not to give up a big play. I mean, that's the big
thing. Absolutely. So now what do you think as far as like with the size? So this staff loves long corners, right? I mean, we've got a lot of guys that are 6 feet plus, long arms, long rangey guys, and they all look good on film. Obviously they're all great athletes. Cornerback's probably going to be your best athlete on the entire team. What are you looking for as far as like from a weight perspective? Do you think that it really means a lot that these guys can come up and be physical and make tackles, get off block?
Definitely,
Is that going to be something that they
can do? Definitely that too. I mean, that's a big part of spring. First time really get to put the pads on to see these guys kind of, go head to head with some other, collegiate athletes that they're going to be seeing, on Saturdays. So you want guys that can get off blocks. With today's game, you're getting the ball on the perimeter as quick as you can. Get a tight end to go block, lead block for you, and try to get upfield. So, having guys like Nico Slaughter, as a guy who played linebacker in high school, guys like that who are physical, Jordan Matthews, these guys coming in, they all kind of have that similar, physicality to them. And so, I think that's another huge thing to be looking at too.
Absolutely.
So I agree. And just to, just real quick to kind of go back to about potential starters at corner, a guy we all forgot about is Warren Burrell. He's a guy, he's a guy who kind of beginning of the season last year, you were like, you want to see somebody else. But then when he went down,
Realized he was really our best guy.
Yeah, we missed him. We missed him a lot. So I think getting him back to be huge. So I think it might be him and Gabe Judy on the corners. But
yeah,
we'll see.
I think so too. And then we like to play a lot of nickel. So do you think that we put a corner in that nickel slot, or do you think that they'll try to roll a safety down? I mean, what do you think we're gonna do there? Because obviously we've got the star. Or do you think that we could get the star off the field? And I'm asking this question to everybody. Mm-hmm. Do you think we can get the star off the field? Does that benefit us? Or, do you think that maybe we can even go to a 4-3 base? Because, we got way better at linebacker. We haven't gotten to that yet. But our linebacking core is way better than it was last season.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, the way football is played now, I think that you have to, nickel, have a star. You have to, in my opinion, have people that can match up with the spread offenses. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think, just a quick thought of our opponents in the SEC. Kentucky might be the only team that runs the football a lot as compared to anybody else we play. Maybe South Carolina, where they have the kid who killed us last year.
Yeah,
he'll be back. Rattler. I think you need to keep it. The star. You need to have more defensive backs, more athletes out there.
I agree, and I think the guy who played star last year was Tamir McDonald, who's a guy I was huge on coming out, 3-star guy out of Memphis. 6'3", about 215, and carries it well. He's kind of that backer safety hybrid, but he's can cover. You have him, but then you also have Nico Slaughter, who was your nickel under Jeremy Pruitt, but then he got moved to corner last year. So I kind of wonder how it's going to translate for him, having that experience, having to cover guys one-on-one at corner, and now he's bumped back inside the nickel. He's physical. So I think we have a lot of pieces. But again, like you said, with the backers we've added too, going to 4-3 looks good too. So. I think we have a lot of tools. Yeah, we have a lot of tools to play with.
Kind of speaking of that, just real quick, the 4-3, having a guy like Arion Carter. Now, at what point, I don't know at what point he'll be ready, but you look at his film, man, that kid looks like, I didn't personally see a better high school linebacker last year, period. Yeah, absolutely. Period. He looked great, and I think that's why everybody jumped on him there at the end. We did a good job of keeping him, but maybe it's probably a big ask for a true freshman to play such a key role his first year there. But at some point, to your point, if you want to go 4-3, you can show 4-3 and then jump him into the star, before, at the snap of the ball.
Absolutely. It's funny because with Arion, he starts off playing running back. And as soon as he moves to linebacker, everybody in the entire country, as soon as his film came out with him playing linebacker, everybody went on him. So I think that we got an absolute steal with him. That was a huge win for us. So just staying on that page with the linebacking core, outside of Aaron Beasley, who's the other one? Do you think Keenan Pili, if we're just talking about nickel base, which is what we mostly played last season, you think that Keenan Pili is going to be that guy to be able to come in and
Yeah, definitely. I think he's the guy. I think he's similar to John Campbell. If he's not the guy, it's kind of, unless one of these freshmen or Elijah Herring, somebody steps up. But I think
Herring's another one.
Yeah, he's another one I'm excited about. But Beasley's your guy coming back. Who else is coming back? We have I don't think Solomon Page coming back. There's really nobody else. I think it has to be Pili. He's like a bigger version of Aaron Beasley. So I'm excited to see him. He's going to be a thumper. I was watching some film last year, and a guy who I underappreciated was Juwan Mitchell. He's a guy, I think, just that experience is something you really can't replace. But having another guy coming in from BYU,
I think he's going to be huge on a lot of different levels. Obviously, you can talk about what he does on the field, but even off the field, with him, like 25 or 26 or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been through college ball. He's lived his life, gone on those mission trips. I think that he will really lead that linebacking core. And I just think it was a beautiful job by this staff to bring a vet like that in to groom these younger guys. And, I think that the sky's the limit for the defense moving forward. But this year, I think that he's the guy who's going to come in on the other side of Beasley.
It'll be real interesting to hear any reports out of spring practice about his leadership. Is he making that impact? Because I think maybe the biggest reason he was brought in is to be that locker room type of guy. Now, he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but also to to help set the culture. And are the kids buying into it? You know, are people buying in and following his lead? Is he being a good leader?
Also, I guess we can stay on defense. We got to look at that line. I think specifically, so we've got a lot of bodies playing tackle. That's another place where we've got a lot of people at. I think that we're pretty solid there. I think that we can maybe get a little bit more speed there, but Coach Garner likes to rotate players a lot, so I think that we'll be fine as long as we can keep them fresh. Now, as far as pass rushers, who's going to be our guy? I mean, who is the guy?
Man, that's the thing. I mean,
Bradley.
Hey, Shaden Bradley's the guy. You know,
and the one person on the whole entire team.
That's a 5-star guy. I mean, he's athletic, he's rangy, but I wouldn't expect him really this year. I mean, he's got to put on a lot of weight.
He's got to put on a lot of weight. Yeah,
I do think it might be a young guy.
You could talk about a guy like Caleb Herring, who came in at 6'5", 205, and now he's up to 230. So I think by the start of the season, he could be at SEC playing size at about 245, possibly.
Wow.
And to me, he was my pick just from going through everyone's film in that class. I think that he might be one of our guys. Obviously, Joseph.
Joshua Joseph.
Yeah. I think he needs to step up. And, I think that that's a spot where veterans really need to step up. I mean, obviously, everywhere they're going to have to step up, but we're losing Byron Young. We've got to come up with somebody who's going to make more sacks. I want to know who's going to be our double-digit sack guy. Can we have?
Let me say this. This is off-season buzz from what I'm hearing. James Pierce apparently is turning a lot of heads.
Wow.
Okay. So I think when he first got there, there's a lot of hype around him, and he didn't just jump right in and was that guy, and might have been a little bit of moping. I don't know. I'm just speculating, but what you hear now is he's a guy that's creating a lot of buzz. So maybe he's a guy.
Yeah, that's great to hear. He's a guy who flashed on special teams last year. You see him flying down on kickoff. He played every single down on a kickoff, I feel like, and he made a lot of tackles, So that's obviously huge to see. So I'm excited about him.
Yeah, one thing I say too, also on top of that, and he's shown me this so far his time here. Rodney Garner's going to figure it out. Yeah. I mean, he has done a really good job every year figuring it out. I just looking at some of the practice clips, the way he challenges the guys. He's in their face. He's kind of a matter of fact with them and tells them what they need to hear, and but he's straightforward, and they respond well to his coaching. So I have a lot of confidence he's going to do well.
Yeah. So now, what do you think is going to happen with Tyler Barron? Because he's a guy that he didn't do a lot last year for us.
Yeah.
He's definitely he's a senior now.
It should be. I mean, that COVID year, nobody knows anything. Yeah. Everybody has a year plus one. It seems like.
It's hard to get 2 extra years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a guy that's going to have to step up. I think that we are in a little bit of trouble potentially if he's not going to be one of those guys. So I didn't put him on that list as sure starters, but I think that he needs to be one. Yeah. And who else do y'all think as far as?
I mean, Roman Harrison's another guy. I mean, he's a guy who athletically, he's a guy like, if he goes to the combine, he's going to test well and all that stuff. Yeah. But for some reason, he hasn't quite put it together just yet. But I mean, I'm always expecting big things from him. So I would not be surprised if he's our double-digit sack guy. He has that in him.
And I was just about to get to that, Bray. Jeremiah Telander. So he's actually slotted to play linebacker, and I think that he's going to be a great linebacker. He's another one of those versatile freshmen that's coming in that can play a multitude of different spots. But in my opinion, he looked really good against what's that team they played against?
Langston Hughes.
He looked really good against Langston Hughes, which was the best team in the state of Georgia last year. He looked really good.
Actually, you know what? He might have been the best looking player, period, in that game, even though they lost.
He wasn't even handling. He was handling him. He was beating him.
He might have been the best player on the whole field. He was very impressive.
Yeah, and guys, listen, if y'all haven't seen any of these films, obviously go back, double check, watch these films. Jeremiah Telander's film. I actually specified when he's playing against Langston Hughes. That was for the state championship. Go back and watch that. He had maybe 7 or 8 clips on his highlight film, but I mean, it was literally every single play.
I think
he was making plays.
15 tackles.
Yeah, he was making a ton of plays. So I'm really excited about him. You know, again, going back to that linebacking core, a lot of versatile guys. But do y'all think that maybe they might that maybe the staff will try him out rushing the passer?
I mean, I don't know. They might. I mean, you never know. That's the thing. I mean, we got, you know, I love the ways we recruit because we have so many guys that can do so many different things. I mean, you know, you could move anybody anywhere pretty much. I mean, you just never know. But I don't know. I don't think they would. I think they'd probably, you know, try those, you know, the James Pierces, Caleb Herrings, you know, those type of guys. See, you know, them first. But kind of to that point is I don't think, you know, it's going to necessarily be a defensive line dominant, you know, pass rush. I think we're going to get, you know, the blitz packages.
Same thing, kind of similar to what we did.
Yeah, last year. And then I think interior too, Bryson Easton's a guy who I'm kind of waiting for him to pop. You know, he's a quick twitch guy that's moved inside. And that Omar Norman Lott, he's a guy I think is a good pass rusher too. So
when I did his film, from last season, he was a guy that, so he was hurt most of that season, but he's been dealing with injuries. So, you know, I was a little bit down on the game film that we watched, but I think that, you know, he's got that type of burst that you would love from a three. So hopefully he can, you know, show us something in spring. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, I think he'll be a situational guy, you know.
I think so too. I think he'll be like the second or third guy that probably rotates in. But, you know, it's good that we can keep him coming in waves. And, you know, hopefully, you know, that'll be what Coach Garner wants it to be. We're just getting 100% effort out of these guys anytime that they're out on the field. So we'll see. And then too, who are y'all most looking forward to seeing in spring? Whether it be a freshman. Okay, Nico is the obvious one, right?
Yeah. Everybody's looking forward to seeing Nico.
For $8 million.
The $8 million man. Yeah. For me, I'll answer that question first. For me, it's two things. Okay, as far as what the team needs, what needs to happen to make the team be better, I'm looking to see what happens to that right tackle. I'm looking to see if Campbell can win that position or if somebody can come and solidify it. Because I think if we protect, I know if we protect Joe Milton, I don't think the offense will miss much of a beat from last year. So that's for me, that's the thing I'm really focused on the most. But I also really want to see, I hear a lot of buzz again about Dante Thornton. Now we have, he played slot at Oregon. We have Squirrel White at slot. I see films on YouTube and on YouTube of him and Joe working out. You know, apparently he's a guy that goes to Joe and say, "Hey, let's go work." And so they're in the indoor facility throwing, and he's making his little circus catches and stuff. I want to see what he does. I want to see if he reaches that potential.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm excited about him. He's going to be he's another weapon, you know, for Hyper to utilize. So he's going to be a stud. But for me, I mean, kind of like you, you know, the offensive line. But I want to see Khalifa Keith. I'm not sure if he's going to be there or if he's already there yet.
Good point. That's a good one, the running back.
Yeah, he's a guy I like to see because, you know, we don't really have a big-bodied guy. So I wonder if he's ready to play. But, you know, I'm excited to see him.
That's a good call.
And just all the newcomers, really, you know, Keenan Pile, you know, the corner. You know, just trying to see all those guys. Yeah, you know, I want to see all these guys.
I know Jack. I'm excited to see Jack.
Oh yeah, Jackson Ball.
Jack Lachelle, my boy.
Oh
Yeah. He's another one.
Yeah, I mean,
Is he here? Is he here? Midterm?
I believe so.
I think he.
He's there.
Okay.
I know Ethan Davis is there.
That's another one. That's another one.
Yeah,
I know.
But I think for me, if I had to pick, I'm gonna pick three. I'm gonna go Cam Seldon. I've been hearing a lot about him. You know, I mean, this is a guy who can play offense, defense, special teams, and he can play a multitude of different places. Literally, he's more of an offensive guy, but if we just go to defense, he can play linebacker, safety, or corner. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, obviously on offense, wide out, running back, you know, any of the wide out positions, he can play beautifully. Excellent size, you know, 6'2", 220, 4'2", 240. And then Arion Carter, I think, might be my favorite player in the entire class outside of Nico. I think he's going to be really special. I'm excited to see if he can come in and earn some early playing time, which I think that he probably will. And outside of that, I'm going to go with Nathan Leacock. If he ends up starting, think about it. We've got him, Brew, and Dante. And then, obviously we've got whoever we have playing tight end. It's going to be 6'4" and up across the board, 215 and up across the board.
All those guys can run.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys are big, long, fast, physical. They all got that dog, so I'm really excited to.
Yeah, and Nico has just got to be smiling. I mean, because I mean, he has his year. I mean, whether he plays or not, all those guys in the same class as him. And I mean, wow, the future looks really, really good on that side of the ball.
I can't wait to see those guys.
Yeah, and so that's kind of why I did bring up the whole thing about Georgia, because I mean, as much as I hate to say this, Georgia is who we are chasing after right now. That's who we have to get better. That's who we have to get better than. So, I think that this year they're going to come up to Knoxville and they're going to get beat down.
Carson Beck, it doesn't matter who.
They're about to get beat down.
3 or 4 touchdowns.
Wait a second. Okay, so Bray, who's Georgia's quarterback going to be?
That's a thing I'm looking for to spring practice. But I think it's Carson Beck. But I could be wrong. Could be Brock Vandegrift, or it could be Gunnar Stockton. But we don't know. I mean, don't want to be Gunnar, but
a whole bunch of
if it's Brock or Carson, I think we're gonna be pretty fine.
But something you got to remember though is that you have a new offensive coordinator. So we haven't even got to that part. Oh yeah, that's right. Not Bobo.
That was 9 years ago.
I feel like next year, we're getting a new one. But anyway, we got the 2 best receivers in the transfer portal. Raul Thomas from Mississippi State. I don't know if he's cleared. He did get arrested.
Yeah, I got to say that linebacker on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about
Dominic Lovett. I think he's like top 5 player in the transfer portal. I think he was number 2 after Travis Hunter.
What's he go about 5'10", $180?
You know what? Let me say something in your defense, Brandon, and then I'll say this, and this is what we've got to figure out when we're kind of brainstorming it. Muschamp did a really good job against our offense last year. So and he's still there. I think I don't know.
All of our DBs are
I'm thinking the key is that you have to have a real threat of a run, but Hyper's offense, it's really, he likes to run the ball a lot, but we got to really have that. We got to get a good running game going.
I think that games like that is where Keith is going to come into play, because obviously, if you look at what Georgia did, right, they actually only had 5 inside of the box, and they brought those safeties down to kind of split that difference. And they were up pretty close, and they just were comfortable pretty much almost always going man on the outside.
Man, every play.
I think what we have now is literally, like I said, if we have those 3 guys starting at wideout, that's 4 and under guys. You're not going to be able to go man across the board. And then, too, when you have that lighter box, you've got a running back that's 230-plus pounds coming downhill. I think that's how you beat that.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I think you guys hit it on the head. I mean, I was watching that game back earlier. I mean, that's what they did. They put 5 in the box, and we still had a hard time running the ball. So, I think when we see those guys again, and I think this will kind of be our offense next year. We're going to have more downhill QB runs. You put 5 in the box. We have 7 with the QB. We're gonna take those numbers. Joe Milton, 6'5", 240. We're gonna get downhill on you. So, I mean, I know we've said it. Hey, he'll jump over you. He's a great athlete. Yeah, he's gotta hurt you. But I know we said it last year. If we would have saw Georgia again, it would have been a different game. And I mean, just watching that.
It would have been like 42-0.
Nah, yeah, right.
If it didn't start raining, Stetson was all over the field.
Oh my God! Hey, listen. So a lot of Georgia fans that did this when South Carolina beat Tennessee. I'm glad.
I was just about to say that.
I was not scared at all.
We live in Georgia, and I promise you, Georgia fans did not want to see us again. They did not want to see us again. So that's a huge compliment to this coaching staff too, because this roster is significantly better on paper than it was last season. So
how many touchdowns did Spencer Rattler throw?
Hey, listen, like I said, this roster this year. Yeah, that was a
5 or 6.
That was a bad game. A terrible game, man. We had a whole lot of locker room issues going on.
Virginia might beat y'all.
Hey, I'm sorry. Can I go back to you brought up a real good point about the offense and the 5 in the box not being able to run, and that brings up a point why a tight end is so important to Hyper's offense. His name is still in my mind now, but we bought in a transfer portal tight end.
Oh yeah, Castles.
Yeah.
That's another guy to look forward to come spring practice. Yeah, because you know, you got to have that tight end. You know, Ethan Davis coming off an injury. You know, he's a true freshman. You know, you don't really know how much you can really expect, even though he's a heck of an athlete. Right. But man, if we get him, the transfer kid to come in and help, that helps our running game. Yeah. We're running the football a lot against those lighter boxes.
Yeah, because like you always say, you know, we're a tight end heavy offense, and I don't know if you remember what Castle's stats were, but he had like around 400 yards or something like that, I think, last year, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in that ballpark. I'll tell you. I mean, he's an excellent athlete. He's another one of those guys. He's older, obviously. He's transferring, but even for his transfer year, he's older. He started off at Cal, and so you know he got those COVID years and everything. So we're getting in these guys that are older, and he's got that grown man strength. Now, I think he's 24, 25, something like that. But he's a great blocker. He runs great routes, has great hands. I definitely think that he's going to I think that he's going to play for sure. So it's going to be him and Warren, and you know we'll see if Ethan Davis can. You know, we'll see if he can get rotated in. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else? Do you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was got thoughts. You know, we brought that Georgia game, and I just want to let everybody know, hey, you know. Went back and watched that film, you know, the score says what it says, and, you know, I know a lot of Georgia fans kind of, you know, we live in Georgia, so these guys are always coming to us. But when you go watch that film, you know, I was watching it, I think we were in the fourth quarter, about 12 minutes left. We're about to go down, we're right there at like the 20-yard line or so, about to score. And I'm thinking, you know, it should be a one-score game right now. We should be about to go take the lead. Like, when you go back and watch that game, you know, the false starts, you know, we were getting in third and shorts, false start. You know, we might get a 1st and 10, false start. We kept getting behind the chains. Kept doing things like that. We missed a couple open receivers. You know, I would almost say that we played as poorly against Georgia as we did against South Carolina. You know what I mean? We saw the results. I mean, we did not play our best game at all. So I just want to make sure everybody knows. You know,
well, I played the best game. It's still the loss.
Well, you know, let me say this to it, and this is why America, why the Georgia fans were really happy that they didn't have to play Tennessee again. I actually had to tip my hat to them. Sanford Stadium affected Tennessee, affected them a lot. And that is where the false starts and stuff happened. It was all because of Sanford Stadium. I know they stole our thunder because 2 or 3 weeks earlier, we did that to Alabama. And the whole world saw it. So they were all prepared. Georgia did not play a strong schedule. So they could just, after the Tennessee-Alabama game, they could just get ready for Tennessee. And they had 3 weeks. Kirby letting out statements, if you leave Sanford Stadium without your voice, you didn't do your job. He was scared because they knew they needed all of that. They needed all of that to make it. He was cut off.
I didn't do my job just doing anyway. I think the week before we had to play the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. We had to play Anthony Richardson. We had to play the best quarterback in college football.
Get out of here, dude. Stop it.
We had to play the best quarterback in college football next Cam Newton, and then we had to turn around and play a 35-year-old old man at quarterback.
Braves
But also to pick back on that too, a lot of people forget is I believe when we played Georgia, that was the 1 week that we were the number 1 team in the country, and I think that played a little bit too.
Yeah, and I was also going to say that because I mean, let's not give too much credit to these Georgia fans. I think that we really beat ourselves. that moment was too big for us. I don't think so. Obviously, you know, the crowd noise did play, but I mean, come on, these guys play in Neyland, you know, half of the season. So it's not like, and that's never been a problem for Tennessee. Like, we don't go into it. I think that the moment was just a little bit too big. I don't think that the team as a whole was really, really ready for that. Heupel and that staff got them ready faster than they were ready. You know, they were ready, but sometimes it's just that little bit of extra mental that you need. But I believe that this team now is going to be able to surpass that point because we've been there, done that. And
so that brings me to the next point. How many games are y'all losing next year?
We're going to go undefeated this year. That's what I'm thinking. We got.
Don't try to play Alabama at Alabama.
Well,
don't try to play Florida at Florida.
Going out to
Who's their quarterback? There's a guy named Justice Haynes. That's their quarterback. I'm just kidding.
Stop
Hey, you ain't gonna run.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna be able to tackle him.
Hey,
The whole offense is not gonna be able to.
Yeah, and two, I also wanted to bring up something that probably nobody else is going to talk about, but special teams, especially talking about kicker. You know, we've got. Hey, look, kickers are people too. Kickers and punters is very important. It's very important. So Charles Campbell is another one of those veterans that's coming in, and he actually got an invite to the combine, so he could have went on ahead and went pro, but he's deciding to
Oh, this
stay.
guy who almost sold the game
know where
to
he's coming
Alabama,
from?
isn't he?
He's coming from the Indiana Hoosiers.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they didn't do too much scoring. So
he did though. Hey, listen. So I'm just gonna tell you this. He's going to be the leading scorer on this team this year. I can guarantee you that. So it's very important to have a good kicker. I think that we got one. If you look at his kicking stats from early on, he was, I want to say, like 90-something%, like high 90s. And he hit some bumps for the last year and a half.
he missed a game-winning field goal versus Ohio State.
Yep, and so again, that's just those moments. Hey, kickers are head cases. Hey, you know what? Let me just ask you this, right? So this is something I've never seen any team have. Why does no team has a actual kicking coach or an actual punting coach? Why don't we get on the horn with Jeff Hall? Why don't we talk to the
Donald Doahay.
Good idea.
no to the what's the punters? Colquitts.
Yeah.
Why don't we call them up and have them? Hey, look, come coach this guy. Because let me just kind of some of y'all might not know why most football players don't really like kickers and punters. Well, it's because in practice, whenever everybody else is out there struggling and grinding, they're off on some whole other field, laying down, watching TikTok and YouTube videos and stuff. So yeah, because nobody watches
Laying in the shade.
100
degrees, they're in the shade.
Yeah. Squirting some water in their mouth, kicking back on the daggum coolers, So if we could actually have a coach there, obviously, I think that would be huge. So anyway, I'm just throwing something out there.
That's a good idea. I wonder if those Colquitts may not show up every now and then, and just walk out there and say, "Hey, let me see what's going on." That's something the VFLs do. You'll see Peyton and you'll see people come back.
Oh man,
If
listen,
Peyton cared about the program, Arch Manning would have went to Tennessee. Where did he went?
Hey, listen. Arch went there because he knew he was not going to start over Nico.
Yeah.
No, because Nico's the most overrated player in the class 2023. But we don't want to have that discussion yet.
You're about to get off this podcast.
We don't have that discussion yet. But he's the most overrated player.
Time will tell.
He's 6'6", 140 at best.
Hey, listen, 6'6", 230 pounds. Last I heard. Yeah. And he's got a cannon for an arm. He's fast as lightning.
Yes, I see him in the ball.
Hey, look, I'm talking.
And some guy sacked him and got hurt. Some D1 players sacked Nico. The D lineman got hurt. Nico is going to try to help him up, like, bro.
That's third player.
Yeah, that's just little football.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Yeah, he's definitely a baller.
Nico's also playing versus nobody.
Oh, please, dude.
He plays in the lowest. He plays in the lowest division in California.
When that picture, I tell you what, I think Florida is it 2A in Florida? It's it's one of the lower divisions, but considered to be the most talented division. Wow. So being in a state like that, exactly right. That means nothing.
Yeah,
it
does mean something because when Brock Vandergrift plays 1A private school ball, y'all.
Hey, listen, every situation is different. Every situation is different, isn't it? Hey, you can always tell a lot about somebody by the school that they decide to go to. Okay, if a guy chooses to go to Georgia and he's playing quarterback.
I want to go for everything set around me. I want to go in nice and sweet. Around and hand it off. Nico said, I want to go and lead team national championship. They ain't been there in a while. He's got a different mentality. Hey, we can't wait to see you guys. That's all I know. But I did want to touch on this punter though. Do you know anything about this punter? Because I was watching, Paxton Brooks last year wasn't getting it done. Is this guy, is he any better, or this Colby Morgan?
Colby Morgan. So I don't know a whole lot about him. Okay. Just to be completely honest, but
I have zero idea.
I haven't really seen him play much. But
Georgia's punter's better.
Like I said,
might be.
Like I said, those are going to be two spots where obviously you want to have some really good guys at. And, that's going to be a huge thing for this team. So we are going to shift gears here, and we're going to talk about March Madness, and I'm going to let them take care of that because that's a little bit – I haven't very much listened to college basketball this year. Who do you have, I guess, coming out of each place, whatever?
All right, the South, teams. I got Alabama because Brandon Miller is literally the best college basketball player in the last – I say since Zion, the best college basketball player.
You're going to bring his name up on here?
Oh, my gosh, bro. He didn't do anything wrong. The East, I have Memphis. They just beat Houston by 15 or something like that. One of the best teams in college basketball. then they got hot. But Duke's another team to watch there. They can definitely get hot. Tennessee.
Duke's got Oral Roberts.
Now, I'll tell you, if y'all want the upside of the tournament, no one's picking Tennessee losing to Louisiana. Okay, Tennessee's a team who can't score the basketball. They're a team that lost to Missouri, to a very, very mediocre Missouri ball club. They lost their best player. I don't know if they're the best player, but they lost their leader, and Ziegler.
Yeah.
It's about 5'7", but
that was a big loss. So how is Georgia going to do in the tournament? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Georgia didn't make it, huh?
Oh yeah.
I think we're in the NIT.
They're one sports school.
We're actually a 4 sports school. Track and field, gymnastics, softball, baseball, and football.
Unfortunately, nobody plays.
Here we go. Out the Midwest, I have Miami. Wanna know why? The U. They got experience. Houston, everybody's gonna be picking Houston and Texas, but I just don't know. Texas is kind of like Tennessee. Sometimes they just can't score, and that's a key thing. This is the upset that's everyone has their St. Peter's every year. Kennesaw State is gonna be the St. Peter's this year. They're I picked them. You wanna know? You might be asking why did I pick them. Well, really, just because they're a Georgia team. Georgia has a lot of dogs.
Kennesaw State probably will win. So first round is against.
They play Xavier. They play.
Oh,
Xavier.
okay. So they're playing.
They play Xavier 3 seed. Kennesaw State. What?
Come on, Kennesaw State. Come on, baby. Come on, y'all can do it.
Hey, y'all laughing right now, but we're gonna replay this clip once they win, and it's gonna go viral.
I think Kennesaw State will win their first round. I think that they've got. I mean, everybody wants them. They've got something. They've got that buzz. So maybe they can do it. All right.
Common opponents: Kennesaw State's 1-2, Xavier's 2-1. That's
all right. Yeah,
that's something you said.
It does say something. Just breaking it down. Analytics.
Yeah. Now, who did they play in the championship game of their tournament?
Liberty.
And they had to win on like a last second foul free throw type of thing. And I'll just say I'm pulling for them, but I know those teams. I mean, Big East is not what it used to be, but those guys in that conference, they play very bad ball club. You gotta be tough to play against those teams. What they can do?
Now this is the region. The West is where I feel like everyone's bracket's gonna be messed up. The first upside I have is Arkansas beating Kansas. Arkansas has 2 projected top 10 picks on their team. Anthony Black and Nick Smith. Nick Smith has been hurt the majority of the year. So, we're going to be able to see him. VCU over St. Mary's. Okay. It's another team. Don't know a lot about St. Mary's. Don't know a lot about VCU. Heard VCU is a tough team. So we picked VCU. Iona over Connecticut. Anyone know who Iona's coach is? Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino. Wow. That's the reason I picked him. Rick Pitino. He's on his way to St. John's. And let me tell you, St. John's getting back to where it used to be. You want to know why? Because Rick Pitino knows how to cheat and knows how to do it well. Okay. TCU versus whoever this playing the game is, TCU. And then Gonzaga, that's an upset alert. Gonzaga is not the team they used to be. Every time they get in March Madness, they choke. Every single year. There's not been one year they haven't choked. They're going to lose the Grand Canyon in the first round. Wow. Okay. And then from there, UCLA is gonna win that region. Okay, in the Final Four, we have UCLA, Miami. What else we have? Alabama and Memphis. Alabama is gonna beat Memphis. It's gonna be a close game. That's gonna be one of those games. It's gonna be 105-99. It's gonna be one of those high scoring games. It's gonna be no defense being played.
They played in the regular season, right?
Yes, 91-88, Alabama. That was a close game.
Yeah, I thought
Okay.
I don't know. I don't watch really any basketball. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just say this, and this is my opinion, okay, which I am usually amongst the top of my basketball pool in that area code anyway.
Yeah,
I would say this. I would say this. The East and the West, you can go ahead and mark in Alabama out of the East, and I say UCLA in the West. I mean, I'm sorry.
Alabama.
No, it didn't say, okay, well, the South. The South and the West. Okay, so, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Alabama's coming out. They have the easiest road of all time, in my opinion.
Easiest road of all time. NCAA community want Alabama to win. That's better for TV ratings and stuff. But can we please give them a little bit harder of a draw next time? Okay.
And I would say in the West, I think that UCLA is coming out of there. I think that they, may not be a clear shot, but I think that they're going to come out. I will say that if you're looking for bracket busting upsets, look in
the Midwest. We're not gonna give you all the secrets, but I'm just gonna tell you. Look at that 2-7 seed game.
The Midwest is gonna be crazy. I predict it could be a double-digit seed coming out of the Midwest. That's gonna be a crazy.
And it's all state.
That's gonna be a crazy.
So I mean, how's Tennessee? I mean, does Tennessee have a chance to do anything?
I like how Tennessee plays defense. Okay, as much as I hate Tennessee, the whole school, everybody at the school, but a couple people.
Hater.
It's just Kai Sigler's out. I think he was probably their best player. Okay, and you got the same people. I mean, the thing I can give Tennessee, you got the same people who've been there since 2016. Okay, what's the Vescovy?
Yeah.
He's been there since 2018. He has about 18 red shirts, 18 COVID years. He's probably gonna come back next year. He's gonna be on.
He is eligible to come back next year.
Wow,
he really is.
He's been there since 2019. I promise he's been there for at least 6-7 years.
But he'll go play in Europe. I mean, he's gonna go make money next year.
No, yeah, he is. He could come back though. Who knows?
He could.
But Tennessee, I mean, they're gonna lose to Duke in the second round. They're just a team that they can either go very far or they can lose in the first round because they can either score. Sometimes they can score, and other times they just can't score. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to. Who scores the most points? Like Torian Prince said.
Yeah.
Grab the rebound, come down. That's right.
Put it over 2 hands. They got the backboard 2 hands, come down with it. That's a rebound.
Right.
And they got more of those than we did.
All-time interview. But anyway, back to the Final Four. I think it was Alabama, Memphis, UCLA, and Miami for me. I have UCLA beating Miami. I have Alabama beating Memphis. And then I have UCLA beating Alabama because UCLA has experience. Just like you're saying with Tennessee, they have 6-year seniors. It seems like everybody on the UCLA team has been there for at least 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay. The point guard with the dreads, I think his name is Tiger Campball.
Yeah.
He's been there since
10 with that headband.
Yeah,
he's been there since I was in high school.
Jaime Jaquez, Pac-12 Player of the Year. He's been there since 5-6 years. So it's just in March Madness. I think what I pick off of is experience.
And you know why I agree with you on UCLA? Because I'm doing my homework, and I'll let you have this tidbit since I know that you're going to UCLA anyway. They took over my Vols as the #1 defensive team in the country. Because of Ziegler getting hurt, that hurt our defense and offense. UCLA is now the best defensive team in the country. They have experience, and they don't really have a tough region. I mean, I don't think that Houston's in that region, but
no, Kansas is in their region, but I think they're gonna get upset.
All right, so
if y'all want to
so who are you picking?
Oh, I picked UCLA. There's a 1-16 upset this year. It's gonna be Howard over Kansas. Kansas just came off a 20-point defeat. Howard, they played Kentucky close for the first half, and they just ran out of gas. But I feel like they have a lot of those recruits who are 4 and 5 stars that got things. They had to come back down to the mid-major level. So they have a lot of those players.
That'd be cool if they did.
And it's against a 1-16 seed.
Yeah, I can definitely happen.
It could happen. And
as far as my pick, I'm going to go with the Vols. I don't know anything, so I'll be danged if the year I don't pick.
There's a lot of this is probably the biggest popular upset. I'm gonna tell you not to pick. Charleston over San Diego State. Charleston, they like to shoot a lot of threes. They make a lot of threes. I think I read some the other day. San Diego State is like top 5 defending the 3, and that's their best defensive trait. So if you're looking for an upset, do not pick Charleston.
Well, that's good to know.
Right.
That's good to know.
That's it.
To me, Alabama's the best team I've seen all year. As much as I hate to admit it, they've been the best team. Even when they played Tennessee and Tennessee beat them, I left that game feeling like Alabama was a better team, but we beat them. As far as Tennessee goes, losing Sakai Ziegler just kills them on offense and defense, and
you could see in the SEC tournament.
Yeah, they're not the same on either side without him. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's. I guess by the time this podcast comes out, everyone will know the first and second round. So you'll see if we're right or wrong.
I hope I'm right. I'm wrong about Tennessee.
Hopefully, we're right, but Tennessee. I just don't expect them to do too much. But
I'm expecting them to win the whole thing, just like I always do. So, with that being said,
we gotta wrap it up.
So, with that being said, guys, thank y'all as always for tuning into the channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will have more podcasts like this coming out here shortly. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Thank
baby.
y'all.
Go
Peace.
Dogs.